I'm Shadow Ravenclaw from Moonwing Entertainment, and you're watching a Patreon. Hey guys, what is up? And this is your host Shadow Ravenclaw, and welcome back to another episode of the Scooby Count. And in today's episode, we have with us Project 27, the Dynamic Scooby-Doo Affair, which is the second episode of the fourth season of the new Scooby-Doo movies. And it aired on September 16th, 1972. And this crossover is with Batman and Robin.
Today, Scooby-Doo meets Batman and Robin.
So, the episode opens up with the gang driving through the middle of the woods, and they hit a rock, and unfortunately, it messed up the car somehow. I don't know, the lights just went out and everything, and shucks, they're gonna miss the mystery solving convention, which I guess is a thing. And they have conventions for everything, so I guess it does make sense. Which is funny because they will revisit this concept with a mystery solving convention in Scooby-Doo Misincorporated. But anyhow, as they're standing around, a plane descends and almost hits them. Well, so enough to Scooby and Shaggy to freak out. And they go to investigate, and what do they see? But two men unloading crates.
Look at that!
Something's fishy. A plane without lights making a delivery in the middle of the night.
Out here, I think we may have a mystery on our hands.
So, they do what any good Samaritan would do. They follow the truck to a mysterious house in the middle of nowhere, and like a Pokemon trainer, they break in without any regards for the law. And that is when Velma, Daphne, Shaggy, Scooby, and Fred spot the mysterious crate just sitting there on the floor.
The wooden crate. They left it here.
That's funny. It's strapped to the floor.
So, the gang hears some noise out front, and they decide to, hide. In this entire two-story house, they hide behind a crate and under a rug. Don't ask me why they didn't want upstairs to hide, or one to the kitchen and maybe try sneaking out the back door, because most houses have two ways in at least. But before the Shaggy hides under the rug, he tried to pick up a chair or a lamp to defend himself, but they were nailed to the floor. And you won't ever guess who was coming through the front door.
It's Batman and Robin.
Today, Scooby-Doo meets Batman and Robin.
Hey, fellas! Holy crap! Who knew we'd run into you here, except everyone if Fox ruined it in the promos? What a surprise this is!
Batman and Robin? What are you doing here?
So, Batman and Robin explained that they were in town looking for that plane, and they saw it come drop down and take the crate over here. So, they decide to open it, but before they can do that, they hear noise upstairs. And so, they all decide to hide in the living room behind the crate and a chair and like a corner of a wall or something. Just run into the kitchen or something. Why are they out in the middle of the open when it's a smuggling operation? Grace Detective my ass.
Who's down there?
Nobody.
But us chickens.
Good evening, madam. Please forgive us for intruding.
So, it turns out that that mysterious person was the nice old lady, Mrs. Baker, who lived in this house and did not know that it was being used as a smuggling operation because she had never seen that crate before in her life. Gee, now who could have put that crate there? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But, anyhow, Batman and Robin decide to open up the crate and Lee gasps!
Holy harlequins!
Why, it's just a punch clown.
An amusing toy.
So then, Scooby-Doo messes with the punch bag and punches it, and lo and behold, it's filled with counterfeit money.
A masterpiece of duplication, except for one tiny slip-up.
What's that, Batman?
President Lincoln never wore a turtleneck sweater.
Wow, phony money.
Yes,
Miss Baker tells Batman, Robin, the gang that maybe the smugglers thought the house was abandoned, which makes no sense because she's lived there the whole time. And the house is like in the middle of nowhere. You mean to tell me that the smugglers were just flying their plane around and then spot a house, depart, smuggle all the way over to the house, and then leave the crate there and leave? What, did the smuggler person, well, the one who was ordering them, tell them to meet them at the house? But, anyhow, Batman and Robin spot some tracks on the ground that lead to the old junkyard, which Miss Baker tells them that may be haunted. Ooh. Because probably the souls of the departed live in a junkyard. I don't know why every single place seems to be haunted. Like, who's dying at a junkyard? What, they fall into the car compactor or something? But anyhow, as they're investigating the junkyard, they spot some footprints around, and that's when they see the well, they don't see the hooded man, but he pops up as Fred, Daphne, and Velma go to investigate who's climbing the crane, when it's really just Robin. Shaggy and Scooby run away to a car as the hooded man runs towards the crane. While Robin's up in the crane, it starts moving, and then it picks up the car that Shaggy and Scooby are in and sends it over to, well, it starts moving to the car compactor, that's what it's called, and drops the car in there and crushes it. But luckily enough, Batman was there and got Scooby and Shaggy out with his bat line, which is really just a grappling hook attached to rope. Which, well, you can't just call everything bat. You got the Batmobile, the Batcave, the Batarang, the Batsuit, Ace the Bat Hound. Though, like, dude, what, you freaking McDonald's, you call everything McChicken Nuggets or something? But went over, Fred runs up to the crane, and that is when he sees the hooded man. But I'm going to show you a quick clip, and I want you guys to see something funny.
Fred, what happened?
I entered the cab, someone threw a hood over me. The next thing I knew, Batman and Robin were trying to pull me apart.
So, with the hooded man gone, they return back to Mrs. Baker's house to get the money and see if she's alright, but we gasp! The entire house is gone. And Batman claims that there's some kind of group hypnosis. You know, was there really house? Was there really Miss Baker? But then Fred points out that the mystery, not the mystery machine, but the Batmobile is gone because it was parked on the porch. So then Batman's like, we can go back to the Batcave because it has a receiver for the car in case, you know, we have to leave the car in a hurry. And I'm like, so I'm getting straight. As opposed to having that receiver on you, you have to go all the way back to Gotham City to check it. You can't have like a little like GPS bleeper on it. Yet you can put a bat track on the car. Which means, like, dude, like, I guess it's like the 70s, but I mean, come on. So Batman and Robin blindfold the gang to drive them back to the Batcave so it can be kept secret. And this is really funny of what Shaggy acts to get, which really proves my point, by the way.
Batman, like when we get to the Batcave, could I get a little snack?
Yes, Shaggy, we'll all have a snack. Bat milk and cookies for everyone.
Bat milk? This cookie sure looks like a real bat. Look, Scoob.
The Batmobile is heading towards the Batman and Robin Museum to, well, they're going to dispose of it because, well, it's the Batmobile. Where are you going to hide of the Batmobile? So you put it in the Batman and Robin exhibit at the amusement park. Which is really weird why it would be at an amusement park and not like, you know, like the Flash Museum. It's got like a whole building in the middle of the city. Why are they putting like the freaking Batman and Robin exhibit in the amusement park? Also, I still find it funny how they'll call bat cookies and milk bat milk when it's really just milk. You don't have to brand the milk and cookies. Like, come on now. But anyhow, that is when Scooby-Doo and they get to the, I almost forgot to say, but they get to the museum, and Scooby and Shaggy don't want to go into like this exhibit to find the bad guys. So they decide to sit in the Batmobile, and that is when Shaggy spots two of the villains.
Like, look! Batman!
Robin!
Now, before we begin, I know what you're probably going to say. Joker and Robin, 5-star villains. That may be the case, but I'm only going to judge them based on what they do in this incarnation of, you know, the character. So I'm not going to take into account, you know, what the Joker did in The Dark Knight, what the Penguin did in Gotham, or the Batman or the Penguin TV show. Only what they do in this version of the character. So basically what they do in this episode. But that aside, Batman and Robin decide to go in the haunted house by themselves because, well, they're master criminals. But the Joker and the Penguin, who have been passing the counterfeit money, have a trick up their sleeve. They're gonna Home Alone for them. Basically, they're gonna use the attraction to the house, similar how to Walmart Kevin McAllister used the Super Mansion to his advantage. Yes, I really hate Home Alone 4. At least Home Alone 1, 2, 3, and 5 are good, and 6 is somewhat watchable.
I shall achieve my goal with a white-sheeted ghoul.
Stay loose, Robin. This is nothing more than an ordinary bedsheet.
The ghost bedsheet did not work, so then the Joker lures them to the Womb of Doom. By simply, when Batman and Robin get up to the door, he says in a loudspeaker, "I'm in this room, Batman. Joker, if you don't come out there, we're gonna break in." And I'm like, dude, he's the Joker. It's obviously a trap. Now, I get this is a kids program, but come on. If you see most programming nowadays, they act like kids are just stupid. Like, there's no plot. Like, look at, like, back then when we had, like, you had, like, Young Justice, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. They were kids programming, but they weren't idiotic. Like, 90% of the stuff you see on Cartoon Network nowadays. Like, come on, he is the Batman. Why would he fall for a trick like that? He's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. He's supposed to be the superhero version of Sherlock Holmes. Like, it's obviously a trap. Why will the Joker announce where he's at? And by the way, when they open the door, of course, they fall down a long-ass chute.
3! Holy Pitbull!
Yeah, so the Joker captures them, and then Batman and Robin are like, let's try to get out with our bat hooks. And Batman's like, well, this is what it's like. I'm going to play the scene that took place approximately 10 seconds ago.
The walls and ceiling are absolutely smooth. There's nothing for our bat hooks to grab onto. Not even a doorknob.
1, 2, 3!
There's nothing for our bat hooks to grab onto. Not even a doorknob.
So the only thing I can think of is that the doorknob, like, disappeared or something. Because they didn't show the Joker or Penguin, though. You just heard the voice. And so that's what I hate is, like, when you have, like, no respect for, like, it's just, like, terrible writing at that point. That's, like, like, for example, The Simpsons. Well, they have, like, no, like, continuity or, like, anything. They have, like, no world building. So it's just, like, okay, here's the scene. If there's a plot hole, there's a plot hole. We don't care. It's a children's show. They're not gonna pay attention to it. So we're gonna be lazy. But, moving on. Scooby-Doo and the gang going to the haunted house because Fred suspects there's something wrong with Batman and Robin. So that's when the Joker decides to start playing tricks on them using the Haunted Mansion. Wrong movie. The Haunted House. The Haunted Mansion is a good movie, by the way. You should check that out. The one with Dan DeVito and Owen Wilson. So what? Most people didn't like it. It bombed at theaters. I've seen that movie like 12 times. I'm gonna watch it every Halloween. You guys should totally watch that movie. It's the only good movie of Jared Leto.
Grisly gargoyles, ghastly ghouls, floating objects, bubbling pools, wailing witches, vanishing doors, hideous rooms with moving floors.
Also, I think it's funny to add in as much of monsters to the Jokers or Penguins, just to the Tillis in general. So every animatronic in here, I will be counting it as either the Joker or Penguin. If I'm unsure, I'm going to put it on both, like what I did with Tyrone the T-Rex. And I'm going to call it the transformation clause. For example, like Dracula, when he turned into the bat, it was obvious that he was using that as a way to transform. Or like when Bluestone the Great moved through the walls, that was but it was as if it was him doing that. So I didn't count it the projection. But I did count the projection with the Tomahawk, the Geronimo from the Ghastly Ghost Town. Just because, well, it was a projection with noise. Which, I guess that would be the exception. But after that, if it seems like that, then I'm not going to count it. But like I did the Gunslinger robot, it was obviously a gunslinger. We did see the actual gunslinger. So, and I'll just I'll probably stop explaining it. Just know that if I missed one, it's probably that's why. I'm not going to keep explaining it, and that way you guys don't be like, oh, you missed this monster. I probably didn't. Trust me, I'm doing this, like, very carefully.
What was that?
I don't know. Velma, you better hold my hand.
So, to get at Shaggy and Scooby, the Penguin and the Joker have them go on a not one-way sidewalk, but a moving sidewalk, basically an escalator. And after a while, they get shot down. Well, they exit the door and they fall down some kind of like laundry chute. And they're up in the basement. Well, they reunite with Fred, Daphne, and Velma. And then, that's when the Joker and the Penguin decide to really get in on the action.
Drat! Our ingenious devices failed to scare them off.
Relax, my bird beak buddy. When they see two living skeletons chasing them, they'll move their bones faster than we can move ours.
More mechanical junk. Kid stuff.
Well, these can actually walk and talk.
So, the Penguin and Joker masterfully scare away the gang. For all of 10 seconds. Because then Scooby-Doo's like, wait a second, those skeletons. Skeletons have bones. Ooh. And then the Joker and the Penguin, who notoriously fight a guy dressed up in a bat costume, who throws frickin' bat wings at them, are scared off by a barking dog. And lo and behold, they run down the hallway and they open up the door to the hall. No, the Room of Doom, that's what it's called. But I want you guys to see this. They couldn't even get the color of the door white. I don't know if there was shading or what.
A door! Inside! Quick!
Holy vertebrae! We've got visitors! 1, 2,
A door!
3!
Watch it, Robin. He broke free.
Huh? There's nothing for our bat hooks to grab onto. Not even a doorknob.
I'm not letting this dumb mistake go. I mean, sure, everyone makes mistakes. Even I make some mistakes in my books. Mainly with punctuation and spelling errors because, frankly, well, it's easy to miss. But I mean, come on. This is a billion-dollar company. I guess multi-million-dollar. But still, this is Warner Brothers, crying out loud. Come on, I expect something better. I mean, I just think it's funny. It's like, if you guys didn't know, in the Game of Thrones, there was this infamous Starbucks coffee cup that even Family Guy made a cutaway gag about. Well, everyone was hounding it because, oh, it's supposed to be a $1 million franchise or TV show, whatever. How could you let this mistake pass? I just think it's funny. But anyhow, the Joker and Penguin are caught, and they reveal what exactly happened and how they did the counterfeit.
Yes. We passed the phony bills at the various rides and refreshment stands. It was so easy, we couldn't resist.
Even though you knew it was against the law to pass illegal tender?
Huh? What's that?
Counterfeit money.
Where did you have this money printed?
My dear lad, we didn't have it printed. It was given to us by an anonymous benefactor.
What?
Someone telephoned us last week. Told us to leave some real cash under our doormat.
After that, every morning on our doorstep there was a crate with a clown in it, full of phony 5s and 10s.
So you mean to tell me that the Joker and the Penguin were not the masterminds behind this whole smuggling operation? They only passed the money like a middleman? Man, I just don't see why the Joker would really... he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would take orders from some random person he's never met before. But anyhow, the police come and arrest the Joker and Penguin and take them to jail, while Shaggy, Scooby-Doo, Mr. Incorporated, and Batman and Robin decide to return to the house and investigate why all the furniture was nailed to the floor, and suspect that the hooded man has Miss Baker. But when they get back to the property, the entire house has returned. But then that is when Scooby-Doo gets scared by Bonnie, runs up a tree branch, and flips a lever, which causes the whole house to flip over. Which begs the question, if you're able to build a contraption that magnificent, yet you can't get phony bills correctly, like, how are you gonna mess up Abraham Lincoln's portrait? It's on the $5 bill. Yeah, it's $5 bill. What? You gave him a turtleneck, or you trying to get blown by Batman and Robin? That sounded really wrong out of context. You trying to get on Batman and Robin's radar?
An iron hinge! And pulley ropes inside! Wow, Mother Nature goofed on this one.
Holy cement mixers, what happened? Just hang on, Robin.
The house spends about 2 minutes flipping around and around and around until finally it gets pulled underneath the ground into a cave. Which, man, this is an elaborate setup. Do you think that they built this whole cave system before and then they decided to come to the plan? Or do they, how much money do you think they spent on this contraption? But eventually they spot the hooded man and they chase him up to I guess a toy warehouse? Which begs the question, was the toy warehouse in the cavern? Because he opens up a little door in the ceiling and climbs, the cavern ceiling climbs up. But if the house is underground, then where did this toy warehouse come from? But eventually, the hooded man does get them with the classic dog barking, so they think Scooby-Doo did it. They put a handkerchief around Scooby-Doo's mouth, but then about 5 seconds later, they realize that it is a dog toy making that noise. So Daphne takes the handkerchief off of Scooby-Doo's mouth, and that is when the hooded man decides to throw a big rubber smiley face bouncy ball at the group.
Look at that!
So the gang runs away, and a classic Scooby-Doo shenanigans occurs. Well, a ton of stuff happens, such as Daphne and Fred bouncing on a trampoline, Scooby driving a toy car, Shaggy getting his head stuck in an elephant costume. And I don't know why, but why do they keep changing the color of the hooded man's hood? Half the time it looks black, and then the other half the time it looks purple. I thought just the cloak or the cape was purple. So, the hooded man gets on a unicycle and starts, pedaling away. So Fred, Daphne, and Velma get on their own bicycles and chase after him. And for some strange reason, Batman doesn't have his glove on, but yet they show that they put in enough detail to draw the hand and the gold ring on his finger. And then literally, 1 millisecond later, he has his glove on again.
He's not in the next aisle. See anything?
Not a thing.
They continue to chase the hooded man all around the facility until eventually Scooby-Doo on his toy car smashes into the sand pit, flies through the air, hits a seesaw that causes the hooded man who was riding up the seesaw to flip into a basket. So Batman and Robin capture him and guess it's
Holy basketballs, that's 2 points.
And game.
Before the cops come to take him away, Batman, make them tell us what happened to Mrs. Baker.
Yes, that dear, sweet old lady.
The poor woman was just an innocent bystander in all this. She simply vanished.
Well,
You fools, Mrs. Baker didn't vanish. She's been here all the time.
Mrs. Baker!
Then you were the counterfeiter.
And I still would be if it weren't for that dumb dog.
What'd I do?
you're the hero of this piece, Scooby.
I am? Sure. You captured Penguin and the Joker, and now you got Mrs. Baker.
You're A-okay with us, Scooby.
We don't have any Scooby snacks, but how about some bat snacks as a reward?
Ooby-dooby-doo!
Again with the bat-themed merchandise. But with that out of the way, we move on to the tier list. Now we have 5 for this one. Miss Baker, Joker, Penguin, and Counterfeit Smuggler 1 and 2. Now we'll be starting with the Counterfeit Smugglers. And well, we'll just give them 1 star. I mean, all they did was fly a plane, deliver a crate, and that was the end of them. Next, we have the Penguin and the Joker. Now, we'll start with the Penguin. Now, he just played the living skeleton and, well, himself, Penguin. Now, his design is kind of, well, generic. It's just a skeleton. So, and they weren't even the mastermind. They pretty much Home Alone them the whole time. You know, Home Alone for them, the haunted house. So, I'm going to give the Penguin, they weren't even the mastermind. I'm sorry, but I'm giving the Penguin 2 stars. Now, for the Joker, he actually had the sea creature and the white-cheated ghost. Again, it didn't fool anyone. So, the Joker, I mean, he's a clown prince of crime, yet he was taking orders from some random person he never met before. I'm gonna have to give him, I mean, he did play with the switches, but that's just because that's what the house had. I'm gonna have to give him 2 stars as well. I'm sorry, but you didn't really do much in that. I mean, they got scared off by a dog barking at them. And finally, we have Miss Baker, aka the Hooded Man, the mastermind behind this whole scheme. And well, she managed to convince the Joker and the Penguin to do it, to pass them up. I mean, that's business partners. It didn't take much convincing. And I mean, Batman said that it was master counterfeit, yet You gave Abraham Lincoln a turtleneck sweater. Like, who would fall for that? And I mean, she did manage to manhandle Fred, and then again, she got beat by Scooby-Doo on accident. I mean, she just started the toy dog. She did nearly crush Scooby and Shaggy. Her costume is kind of lame. I mean, it's literally just... I mean, she's literally wearing the outfit when they first meet her. And, I mean, Batman, seriously? Like, you didn't know it was her? I mean, he could have known, but she unmasked herself. But, I mean, yeah, this is like, I mean, I've seen better costumes. I'm gonna have to give her, well, yeah, 2 stars as well. This episode is kind of underwhelming for Batman and Robin to be in it. Another underwhelming episode. But that was the Dynamic Scooby-Doo Duel. No, the Dynamic Scooby-Doo Affair. And hopefully in the next episode, which is Wednesday is Missing, will be better. I mean, he does have the Addams Family, so let's see. But until next time, this is Shotwave Cloth signing off. I'm Shadow Ravencroft from Moonwing Entertainment, and you're watching a Patreon.